It's another skill that we're going to be adding to our ever-expanding tool set. And that's where the real value of AI is going to be, is not drawing on everything else out there, but drawing on everything that's in here.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Creators Pod. My name is Rob. I'm here with Alec, Dina, Michelle, Keely, and Rich. And today, we're going to talk about what everyone's talking about, artificial intelligence, and how that is affecting creators. And how are you using it, how we're using it. And so let's talk about it. So we've been talking about this amongst ourselves for a few weeks. I mean, obviously, ChatGPT has hit us all and we've been looking at it, but there have been other tools that have stood out and people have started to use it. I know that a few of us started with Jasper probably over a year ago, and now we've just kind of rolled into different tools. So, asking my first question, I'll start with Alec. What tools have you been using lately, outside possibly of the obvious of ChatGPT? And what have you discovered about them that has made them stand out?
Absolutely none outside of ChatGPT. So yeah, I mean, I was somebody who I tried Jasper, when there was a lot of buzz around it in, our little group last year, or the year before, I guess. And I never really got into it because I wasn't really doing a lot of sort of written content creation. And I wasn't using it also for, descriptions or anything like that. And I think one of the things that I didn't really pick up on with that so much was all of the different formulas that you've got that you can use, for, a standard call to action for things like that. And it was only really when ChatGPT came out that I did start to look more at it because of the more sort of conversational nature of it. And so far, all I've really been doing is just playing around with getting it to generate course plans, things like that, to just use it as an initial framework. I mean, a lot of people say that it's not going to replace professionals in any industry because you still have to know that what it's putting out is actually meaningful and useful and correct. But I have found that it is being good for me to just sort of speed up the process of, crafting a call to action for something or an outline for a course. And it's been pretty good in that respect. I have also been using it outside of content creation for things like Excel macros, code snippets and stuff like that. It's really good at that, which is something that Jasper historically wasn't really built for. No. So yeah, using it for coding has been amazing.
Okay. Yeah, I know that, I've been finding new ways of using ChatGPT, and Keely directed me toward a course that I dropped some money on a couple of nights ago, and I'm about halfway through that. And, honestly, I was a little skeptical, or, I made the comment to you all that I kind of felt that ChatGPT, or, there's going to be a bunch of AI bros like we had for crypto that everybody was going to be like jumping on and, trying to become the expert really quickly. And I think I see, especially on Twitter, a lot of people doing that. They're pulling out, they're literally stealing other people's work product for training, packaging it up, and either collecting an email address or charging $5 or whatever. At some level, they aren't the experts that they say they are, but they've found enough material to cull and create their own little book. So, but fun fact. So, ChatGPT went with a paid model, and today I got my invitation. I was, I guess, probably a little earlier on the list than some, so I paid the $20. Now, have I noticed any large, ability to do things faster? Not at this particular point. It's only been a few hours since I bought into it, but they at least say that things are going to be better, and I haven't had any annoying notifications that the network is overloaded. So, Dina, same question to you. Any tools that you found in the AI space that you might be using, and how?
I've tried ChatGPT, and I can see where it's really valuable for me for courses, outlines, that kind of thing. I haven't really gotten into any of the other AI stuff other than that, though.
Have you asked ChatGPT for any recipes?
I did. I told it I had, I think I said, give me a recipe that for broccoli, ginger, and soy sauce or something. And it made, no, it was shrimp and grits. I said shrimp, grits, and garlic, and it gave me a shrimp and grits recipe. The other thing I did last week, I asked it to tell me about the tale of the Bichon Frise. I remember this now. This is why it completely went out of my mind because I was
TALE or
mortified.
TAIL?
IL.
Okay.
I wanted to know what the tail of a Bichon Frise dog is supposed to be like, and it was completely wrong. I was utterly mortified. I mean, and what I can say that I appreciated was, they've got the thumbs up, thumbs down, and of course I did the thumbs down. It gave me an opportunity to tell it what it should have said, so I copied it straight out of the Bichon Frise standard and gave it to him. And then the follow-up questions were, I don't remember what the full compendium was, but one of the options was, this is dangerous or, could be harmful to somebody. And what they said was that the tail is docked on Bichon, and it is not. So I wanted to make sure that got fixed because we don't need Bichons to have their tails cut off.
Ooh,
thanks for playing.
No. Yes.
ChatGPT, thanks for playing.
Well, at least they have a way of training it. Michelle, what tools have you been using?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So, of course, the aforementioned ChatGPT. But, I'm still a Jasper stan. I kind of use Chat and Jasper in tandem. So I'd start off in Chat and then make it pretty in Jasper. I have found, actually, it's been really good. It's been really good. I really like, to kind of, what you said, Alex, about the conversational type way that you can just kind of talk to it and then it'll just spit stuff out. But then I went back and I kind of did all of my structure stuff in Jasper. I've been a Jasper stan since last year sometime. And, I'm team boss mode. So I kind of like that. And it just really does great stuff as far as like putting things together for my blogs and for some of my long form content. I love long form content for whatever reason. I just really do. So it's been really good for me for that. Another thing that I was kind of playing with is, because the other thing is, y'all know I love Canva. So Canva just introduced their version of Canva Write, which is basically sort of like an AI portion where, you can like do this something similar like you can do in Chat. And it was pretty dope. It's pretty dope. I was able to kind of write some outlines and stuff. It's still kind of, a little clunky, just like everything else. But I was able to kind of create outlines for things that I needed. And I was already in Canva because, of course, that's the next place I'm going anyway, to create the graphics and all the things to go with it. And that's it as far as, well, no, there's more. But wait, there's more. Descript. Descript is another one. So I use the AI voice in Descript to do a lot of promo type videos and things like that. Sometimes when I just didn't feel like it, in the beginning, when I was kind of like, kind of cutting my teeth on creating promos and things like that, I will do all of the graphics in Canva, and then I will go to Descript for the voiceover. I'd put my script in there and the AI produces, whatever I want it to say. And I tried the overdub. It doesn't understand a Southern Caribbean heritage, African American dialect. It don't understand that. Okay. So I sound like a machine when it tries to talk for me. So I don't want it to talk for me. So, but the other voices are pretty dope. So I kind of like that.
I hadn't, I used Descript too, and I'm, I've used the voices, and I think that they're pretty good. Mm-hmm. But I think, I've been playing with some other AI voice tools too, and all of them have a ways to go, but I could see pretty quickly them stepping up and being pretty useful for creators. Hey, Keely, so same question to you.
I have been sort of a little bit late in experimenting with ChatGPT or other AI tools simply because I haven't been impressed with what I've seen in terms of output. I mean, I know I'm going to sound like a complete asshole here, but I come from a writing background. I have an English minor. Writing has always been my thing, and I can see something that's written by AI a mile away. Because I think now that I've taken Rob Lennon's course, which you alluded to, which is called the AI Content Reactor, we'll put a link to that in the show notes. Now that I've gone through that course and seen what the advanced techniques are in the ways that you can train the AI to recognize what experts are, who they should be going to in order to find best information. So in fact, for in Dina's case, instead of saying, hey, what's the standard for Bichon Frise? If she had said the prompt instead of being, please consult the American Kennel Club breed standard. Sorry if I'm saying the wrong things here, but can you please consult this expert source for the standard for Bichon Frise and make sure that it's as up to date as possible, or whatever, and to tailor the prompt so that you're actually getting not the whole broad internet opinion about what Bichon Frise tails are, but the actual experts. You're going to get something better. If you train the AI to say, look, here's a whole bunch of my writing. I'm an expert in this topic. So what my plans are for AI when I have all my spare time is to put in a whole bunch of my writings and transcripts about field hockey umpiring. Put that all in there and say, hey, this is actually what the rules of the sport are. Because when I just ask it, hey, ChatGPT, tell me about the rules of the aerial ball in field hockey, it's completely like, it's even worse than an unhealthily docked tail for a dog. It's just so completely out to lunch. I think if you don't put in specific information and ask for specific things, you don't get the quality out of it that you should. It's going to, if you give it generic prompts, it gives you generic information back, and it's boring. It's not very informative. It doesn't have anything of Alec, of Dina, of Michelle, Rich, Rob. It doesn't have our personalities in it. It doesn't have our experiences in it. So I think it's been worthwhile for me to sort of take my time to take this course that I did and get myself a little more educated on how to get the most out of this tool so that I don't waste time churning out garbage, because I just, ain't nobody got time for that. So that course pointed me at Mem. So mem.ai is a sort of a side tool that basically, I think what these softwares are going to be doing is tailoring prompts in a very specific way and taking that programmatical prompt tailoring out of our hands and saying, okay, you just write in these boxes and we will tailor the prompt according to what boxes you're ticking. Like, oh, you want this to be a task, and it then gets inserted into your task manager. So it takes that little bit out of your hands so you don't have to think of it. And I think mem.ai is going to be a valuable tool for that for us as well. But every piece of software that's on a cloud platform right now is looking at ways to incorporate AI, and it's going to be doing those things for us.
Well, Microsoft, here we go, Rob, coming back around to Microsoft Word.
Oh, you just had to, didn't you?
Had to. Well, actually, and let's be honest, the article I read today was about Microsoft Teams implementing ChatGPT into Teams for, note-taking, for questions, for, a number of different things in setting up and running a meeting. But, Microsoft has dumped a whole bunch of money into ChatGPT. So we should probably expect to see it in the Microsoft products here pretty quickly. And, as we've seen in the past with other technologies that have been bought up, acquired, absorbed, stamped out, whatever, big companies creating their own. It's going to be interesting to see. I believe OpenAI probably is going to survive or do well or just be acquired and exist. But there's going to be a lot of people that are building things on the OpenAI platform that either need to mature quickly and sell within the next 24 months, or they're going to be left at the altar, and there's going to be nothing, no money for them.
I'll just sort of jump back in with an example from mem.ai that you can use a Twitter reply on a particular thread or a post that you really like and say, hey, mem.ai this basically. And what it'll do is it'll bring that tweet or that thread into your mem.ai database. And you can then maybe tag it with specific information. Hey, this is about this is about this subject matter. This is really good. I like this, that sort of thing. And you start creating an internal sort of AI about what you think good writing is or good information on this topic is. And then you can say, hey, mem.ai, given these things that I've stored about this particular topic, can you write a tweet for me in 4 threads and in this style that talks about this particular subject matter for me? And then it'll actually get you just so much more of a smarter, more tailored, answer for that. So that's one of the ways that I'm excited now, finally, about using AI with these tools, because it's got to be a lot more responsive, I think. And it's just about us understanding the possibilities that we can use it for.
Yeah, I jumped in and signed up for AI, halfway through my Rob Lennon course. But I only started the Rob Lennon course 2 nights ago. So I'm, I haven't had time to sit down and learn AI. And then I just subscribed again to Feedly. So I'm using Feedly, and they have an AI tool built into there. So I'm going to have to sit down and teach myself that. And that's the thing, is that, there's all these fun tools, but you got to learn them all. So let me go on and speak to a few of the tools that I've been using. So obviously I've had Jasper, and I'm just going to go out and say that these writing tools are going to be a lot like discussing Google Docs and Microsoft Word and, just using a plain text field. Everyone's going to have their opinions and why things are good and why they're bad. No one's right or no one's wrong with pizza, except for pizza with pineapple on it. That's just atrocious. But
Of course.
yes. So, Jasper, I signed up for. I was one of the first people. I then came back in. I quit for a while, came back in. I'm using it again, but some of the limitations of the interface kind of frustrate me. And I like the chat ability of ChatGPT. And while Jasper has that to a certain extent, at least in my case for the work that I'm doing, and I'm going prompt for prompt. Anytime I write a prompt, I put it into Evernote or into a Word document, and I test it on different platforms. So I have Copy AI, I have Jasper, ChatGPT, and then somebody reached out to me from a company called Type.ai, and they're building a whole nother platform based on the OpenAI thing as well. And it is very basic right at this particular point in time. But the idea is similar to what Keely was discussing, along the lines of the mem.ai, there's a mouthful, platform, in that you're trying to train your writing style within that. And you can start to see that with Type AI. And I think some of the other things I like about it is when it writes out blurbs or an article or whatever, they break everything up into paragraphs so that you can drag and drop them and move the paragraphs up and down as needed, or just delete whole entire paragraphs, or rewrite an entire paragraph and that paragraph alone without affecting everything up or down in that article. So there's some flexibility in there. But, my goal really has been to kind of focus on my writing, and, I'm writing in healthcare, but I'm not writing like patient care stuff. So let's just get that out of the way. It's marketing focused on medical practices and how medical practices market themselves and brand themselves. So I'm not trying to kill anybody with AI, at least not at this point. And
Not yet.
So not yet. We're going to get there. But so all of these tools have created their own little niches, but we're going to have to see if the riches are the niches, or the riches, or the riches are the niches, or whatever,
Riches get stitches.
Riches get stitches. There too. So, Rich, talk to us.
I started using Jasper last summer when everybody said, "Oh, you got to have Jasper, and here, give me $1,000." And it renewed. I'm sorry, 2 summers ago, and it renewed last summer before I could stop it. However, I do use it quite a bit, but I use it for product descriptions when I have to. If I go to a product site and I see a list of bullet points, this bag is non-woven, or it's 200D polyester, or it's screen printed one color, or it's full color, or it's printed in the gusset, or whatever. I'll take a list of bullet points, dump it into Jasper, and say, make a paragraph out of this. And it makes a nice short paragraph that you could put in a product catalog or send an email to somebody without having just a list of features.
Right.
That's what I use it for. Also, if I need to create a blog post or something like that, I'll say, give me an outline, give me 5 things about X that I need to know about. And then I can expand on that myself, or I can have it write stuff about each one, but I don't really do it because, like Keely was saying, it doesn't have your personality. So, and I do that a lot of times. I'll have it write, I don't know, 2 paragraphs about employee appreciation. And then I'll take what it says and I'll modify it to make it mine. But it's just a jumping off point. They say it's going to, people will stick stuff in there, and whatever it spits out, they will publish. And then I think it's going to cannibalize itself, because they say that all this AI stuff reads the internet and that's where it learns from. It's going to start learning from itself and all this crap that people are putting out. And eventually it's going to get worse. I don't think it's going to get better. They say, oh, it's being trained, but it's being trained with crap information. I wanted to go back to Dina and say, are there any instances where a dog's tail is cut off and that's the right thing to do, or not?
Yeah, there are breeds that have dock tails for sure.
No, but not for Bichons. Ever.
Oh, God, no. Never. Don't.
So that information is not out there. That your chat thing just made it up, right? Yeah. See, that's bullshit.
Right. I think it did.
That's the kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that's going to be painful, because, I mean, there was some guy that's like, some lawyer is going to go to court, or was going to try to go to court and use ChatGPT to defend somebody or sue somebody or whatever.
There's a website that uses AI. Yeah, I'll dig it up for the show notes, but there is actually a company that uses AI to help you defend your speeding tickets, your parking tickets, write basic contracts, that type of thing at that level. And the guy that had founded it was obviously just going to court for publicity purposes, and the judge was not going to have any of it, and literally threatened the guy with fines and jail time if he proceeded. So not everybody is warm and fuzzy in the AI space.
Yeah. Yeah. So my opinion on the whole thing is, garbage in, garbage out. I mean, if you take it literally and post whatever it tells you, you're going to look like an idiot. So you can't really get away with that.
Yeah, there you go. So if you're worried that AI is going to take your job and you're a lawyer, you only know if what the AI is giving you is accurate or not, is if you already have the training, the knowledge, and the expertise to be able to weed out what is actually a good argument, what is fact, what is fiction, all that kind of stuff. You're not going to get replaced. It's just going to make it faster for people who actually know their stuff to do their stuff. That's that's it in a nutshell. So I really don't think all this hysteria about, oh my God, nobody's going to be able to create. The creators still have to put their lives, their voice, their experience, their knowledge into what they're doing, so that, like you say, Rich, the information doesn't just cannibalize itself into this
Well, let me ask a
black hole of fiction.
Let me ask a barrister something. So we know that there is set law in Canada, or set law in the United States, or even set law, published law in Arizona, where I live. So we know that there is a data set, and we have past, court rulings and things like that. So if AI was trained and only dealt with the verified data in law journals, in case findings, in things like that, and did not retrain itself unless it was a verified data set, do you think that AI would be okay in the legal field?
But you as a user would have to be knowing how to access just those data sets, and continuing to stay with that. And if any random person comes in and says, oh, let's sort of just slide in some Ohio-based law into there, and confuses things, then now you've got, anything goes.
Well, and I think that,
and that's the
going
whole
back to
problem.
Jasper, though, into kind of that Jasper model. But what if I knew that I was going to be writing or looking for something to be written, and the prompt drop-down menu requires me to define what country and what state or what municipality I'm writing for, so it only goes against verified data, and no one gets to train that AI except for verified, like a company. Because
Is that how it's going to work?
I don't know. I don't know. I've watched plenty of Pixar movies, so I don't expect anything to turn out well. So
we are talking about it as a tool, and I think the thing is, it's like, the point is, it's not going to replace people in terms of, you do have to have some knowledge of what it's talking about. So I just think it's a case of, we're all going to be using this. All of us have tried it, and I'm guessing all of us are going to continue to implement it into our workflow. And it's just a case of bearing that in mind, that we can't just use it to think like, oh, it's the easy button to just churn out a load of content that we are, not actually putting our own eyes on. I mean, I did actually create one blog post with it just to see like what it came out. And actually in that instance, it gave me something that I couldn't really add to. So I did actually just post that just to see what happened with that, as it basically more or less as it came out. I just added a paragraph with an extra call to action at the end of it. But in some cases, it does come out, really accurate. But if you don't know that it's accurate, then you can't just sort of post blindly. That's the thing. And if I ever work with a lawyer to draft a contract and it has anything about docking tails, then maybe that'll be a little cue for them.
I'll tell you, the really scary one though is the art thing. But when you tell something like DALL-E or Midjourney or whatever to generate some stock photography for you for a website or whatever, that stuff's pretty good, and that can replace people. Because if you don't, all of a sudden you don't need a stock photo account anymore, because you can just say, give me a picture of a man on a payphone in a rainstorm with an umbrella, black suit. True. I mean, you can do all this stuff and get and 4,000 pixels wide by 2,000 pixels tall. You can really get specific with it and generate some kind of stuff. Now, it may have been based on some artist's technique or Van Gogh or whatever, and that's, people are screaming about that too. But that can replace people's jobs and stock photography and all that other stuff. So that's something to kind of watch out for.
Because in the creative space, I think the thing that I've been having the most fun with in the past couple of weeks has been Midjourney and teaching myself prompt writing. And so much of what OpenAI and ChatGPT is with Rob Lennon's course is prompt writing. I've heard, I don't know if anybody else has, the new job titled prompt engineer. And there was a posted job. I think it might have been Rob Lennon or one of the people that he tweets with, posted a job in San Francisco for the job title of prompt engineer, and the base salary was $250,000. And I'm like, okay, cool. We're going that direction. Who the heck has the experience right at this particular point in time? I mean, you can, if you're a smart person and you're an engineer and an English major and all that, you probably can get up to speed pretty quickly for a $250,000 a year job. Of course, $250,000 in San Francisco is probably minimum wage, but it's just the fact that there are jobs out there now, specifically targeted to AI. I know that in my field, in medicine, specifically in radiology, we've been dealing with AI for a long time, and the fear of AI. Now, first place, radiologists fear everything. Change is bad, and there's a number of different reasons for a whole nother day. But the fact of the matter is, just in the past couple of years at our big conferences, there's always been some company or companies, that create some sort of niche product, AI product for radiology. And the rub that I see, the problem I see is there's the big mammoth software companies, the GEs, the Kodak, Carestreams, the Fujis, those big people that create the software for our industry. And now all these little AI companies, they want you to spend $40,000, $50,000 to solve one problem when there's 50 problems to be solved. They want you to pay and have it implemented into your software. And there's no guarantee that implementing that software into your PACS risk system, whatever you're using, is going to not screw things up. So there's, at an implementation level of using this as productizing AI into healthcare to help people write reports, or I'm speaking to somebody tomorrow just on an AI tool that helps diagnose mammographies for breast cancer. It's cool, but I don't think doctors have anything to worry about in the short term. But I can see AI being trained on data sets and being able to write reports pretty quickly. I'd say within the next 5 years, you're probably going to be seeing some level of interpretation for your medical images. So good luck with that. So, all right. So my next question, Alec, so I'm going to go for you for this next question. In the next 5 to 10 years, just like I said, my vision for the medical industry, what's going to happen to radiology. What do you see in the creative community in the next 5 to 10 years? The good, the bad, the ugly, in terms of what AI tools are going to be used for. We've discussed writing, we've discussed audio, fake, voices, creating fake voices, we've creating artwork. Where do you think that we are in 5 to 10 years? Is this going to take people's jobs away, or how, use your vision?
I think it's going to enhance the creative people's processes and workflows and speed up the process for people who are really creative and harness it in the right way. I think it is also going to increase the amount of crap, for want of a better word, being put out by people who are just doing that thing of taking it and running with whatever it gives them. So yeah, but I think it's just going to become part of everything. All the apps are going to have it in one form or another. I don't know exactly how they would feature this in everything, but think of like even apps like Photoshop. I'm sure there'll be something in there to generate certain aspects. There'll be things that can just automate a lot of the processes that you have to go through in apps like Photoshop to the steps that you have to take to improve on an image. That's just a no-brainer, given what you were just saying about things like Midjourney and what Rich was saying as well about creating stock art. Well, if that could give you a starting point to work with, and obviously all of the big companies, Microsoft, of course, getting on board with it to build these things into apps like Microsoft Word, obviously for the written stuff, but a lot of people don't realize all of the coding stuff that you can do with ChatGPT for, as I said before, macros for Excel. I think speeding up that whole process is just going to be it's going to be a game changer from a point of view of how effectively people can use Excel, because we mentioned in a previous episode, most people only use a fraction of the power of it. But that's just because of like the learning curve in terms of understanding it and understanding what it can do. So having some sort of AI thing built into Excel as well would be would be massive.
Yes, absolutely. Dina, thoughts about the future?
I wouldn't be surprised if they figure out how to have it generate video content. And
Mm.
I'm with Alec. I don't think it's going to, if we gets there, I don't think it's going to change what we do markedly. It's going to help us in some ways, I suppose, but I mean, video is so core to what we do that I can't see people adopting it broadly. It'll be, um, the crap.
Creepy.
It's just gonna be more crap. And aside from video, I think you can look forward to really crappy recipe experiences from now on because people have to write all that stuff at the top. I'll never do that, I swear. I think they're gonna just have AI generate it. So not only do you have to scroll through it, but it's really bad scrolling through. Like I said, if I ever put it on my recipe pages, it's gonna be below the recipe because it's the bots that want it, not the recipe seekers.
There is a video AI one which no one's mentioned called Synthesia, and that is basically that creates talking head virtual thing. You type in the text, and then you've got the talking head there. So I mean, it's only a small step to just actually build that into ChatGPT. That you ask it a question, it generates the content, and then has somebody read it out as well. So couples those two things together. I've not played with that one too much, but that's another interesting one that actually generates people speaking.
Yeah. I'd actually seen an example the other day where one AI bot was talking to another AI bot, and they had synthesized faces talking to each other. And they could have continued to just go on forever because they were literally just asking each other questions, and the other one would answer that. So it's there. But yeah, I was going to say that Photoshop already had built-in AI. They call them neural engines. And then what Alec mentioned before about to what Dina said is that those synthesized people talking heads right now, I've seen them. I played with them a little bit. They're not even close to being ready. They're creepy, and everyone wants to jump on them for marketing purposes. Which, yay, I guess. But you're going to turn off some. You're going to turn off clients. You're going to turn off people pretty quickly if you use those too heavily. I mean, the voice, just having a voiced overdub, that's one thing, but these video things right now are not really there yet. Michelle, what do you see the future being?
Oh my goodness, talk about getting in the matrix, bruh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm kind of on board with, what everyone's, piggybacking off of what everyone's saying. Now more than ever, it'll be even more difficult to stand out. But you can't replace the human experience, period. Okay. You can't replace that. We use it, but you cannot replace the human experience because they're not human. So yeah, use it as a tool, use it as what it is, a tool. And, it'll help you get to where you need to go. But at the same time, it's not a replacement at all. I don't see, even though I know that this is sort of like this is the revolution that's happening right now. This is like, the hot talk that we're talking about right now. It's not going to replace the human experience and the stories we still have to tell. So I think the future is bright. However, you relegate it to that, what it is, a tool, and just use it as such.
Keely, are you that optimistic?
I think so, but just expounding on the theme that I've been pounding on for the last while is that I think what we're going to move to is almost siloing our AI as creatives, that we're going to build our library of our knowledge and our voice in order to then generate content that is ours. And so, I will take every video, every transcript, every tweet that I've ever written about umpiring, that I've written about Discord, that'll all go into my own little AI generator, and that will then generate more things that reflect what I know and what my experiences are. And I think when creators learn that skill, we're all going to become $250K a year prompt engineers. And that is going to take some time. It's going to take guidance and practice and experience. It's another skill that we're going to be adding to our ever expanding tool set. And that's where the real value of AI is going to be, is not drawing on everything else out there, but drawing on everything that's in here. That's what I think the future is going to be.
Rich, talk to me.
I don't really have anything to add, except, I mean, everybody else says it's going to get better, but it's going to be, you're just going to have to weed through a bunch of crap to get through it. I am kind of wary about deepfakes because that video looks pretty good. I mean, if you get Barack Obama or Tom Cruise talking shit, and those look really, really real. And I don't know how they do that, but I guess that, are we talking, is that AI too? I think it is.
To a certain extent,
yeah. But it's, that's some scary stuff. And you can change the course of history by having some president say the wrong thing to the wrong person, or having somebody think they said the wrong thing. It's just, go ahead.
Yeah, those things couple together. So, I mean, if you imagine taking the overdub facility of Descript, but then training it on somebody else's voice, not necessarily a famous person, just anybody else. Then you look at something like Synthesia, where you can create an AI person and have them read something, and then just overlay the deepfake thing where you're putting the face of the person on top of that. You could literally create a video of somebody, whoever it happened to be, saying something that you wanted them to say. And there's all manner of ways that could be used nefariously.
Well, the ones that are out there, I mean, this was 3 or 4 years ago, or maybe even before that, they came out, and those have been around. It's not like a new thing. And they really do look frighteningly realistic. And it would be so easy for somebody to just cause a whole bunch of trouble by sticking that out there. So I don't know. The way we're talking about AI, write me a blog post, write me a paragraph, make me a picture. I guess that stuff will get easier, and the more people use it, the more people will get better at it, just like everything else. So
I just think that we've just started to talk about this. I think that there's going to be additional tools that are going to come around. We're going to gain some, we're going to lose some, we're going to learn. We all together are going to learn how to engineer those prompts, write those prompts for whatever purposes, and we're going to get into it because it's going to be a new language. Just the things that I've learned in the past week, just for my mid-journey prompts. And honestly, I think 95% of the stuff I've been using mid-journey for has been for fun. As I mentioned, before we started, is that, my family has American Eskimo dogs. So I've been using Midjourney to create artwork that included American Eskimo dogs taking selfies of themselves at famous locations around the United States and the world. And, honestly, that's just for social media, goofiness. I can see people using it for commercial purposes. But again, I still think we haven't come to, dealing with what all Midjourney or any of the other art programs have been trained on, and how little or a lot of that, IP of somebody's art is being used to create something for you. So I think that we're still going to be tiptoeing over this for a long period of time. And as creators, we probably need to keep our eyes out for, to discuss in the future the good, the bad, and the ugly of using artificial intelligence in our work. So we're going to leave it there. We know that we're going to be talking about this again in the future. Lord knows we're going to be talking about this in the future. I appreciate you listening to us today. This is Alec, Dina, Michelle, Keely, Rich, and my name is Rob. We're all part of the pod. We're the P's, and we thank you for listening today.
Thanks for hopping into our Creators Pod. If you enjoyed it, we'd love if you would subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts and tell a friend about it. Check out the video version on our YouTube channel, Creators Pod. The Creators Pod is produced by C22 Media, Dina Taylor, Keely Dunn, Michelle Lawrence, Rich Graham, Rob Vaules, and me, Alec Johnson. Thanks for listening.
I got Rich to shake his head.